So Gavin, doing a couple of videos just to do some tips and tricks in Terraria, and the editor, recorder makes my game a little bit laggy, so bear with me if I don't play as well as I normally am when I'm trying this. So I know you already said that you have the Hellstone armor, but just in case you ever have to restart for any reason, and you're need to make another set, or say there's something like the imp staff with my little imp there that you don't have but you want to get. Here's a really easy way to get some Hellstone. First, you just have to find a building in the underworld, preferably one that doesn't, you have a little bit of ash between you and whatever lava is down there at the bottom. So you can mine into the ash a little bit, and as long as you're careful and you go kind of slow, you can make these little pathways down into the ash. And the really great thing about this is, what I did is I actually went and I mined down to the bottom of the world. That way, when all these areas right here were actually pools of lava with some hellstone in them. So I was actually able to drain the lava, just like this, basically. Once you have gone all the way down into the ash, and you can see where I did it over on the right side of the screen and the left here, then you can tunnel up from underneath, and you can go to any lava that you want to drain down to the bottom of the world, and just let it go like that. I'm actually going to equip my lava charm here instead of my lightning boots for a second, just in case I happen to fall down into some lava right here. Like right there I would have gotten hit. And grappling hooks are of course really useful here. And here I actually drained so much lava that I can't get to the other part without falling into it a little bit. So I'm just gonna do that real quick. That's very dangerous, but if you're careful and you use your grappling hook to pull yourself out of the lava, you can always just watch the timer reset and know how long you have to just drop into the lava and mine some. You want to find a lava charm before you do that, because otherwise I really would have died pretty horribly right there. But yeah, you can just tunnel all the way back up from the bottom like this. Leave yourself little platforms of ash to go along. And all this way up here, I mined the hellstone out, and then I drained this pool of lava to get myself back out of it. And just doing that right there actually gave me enough hellstone to make a full set of armor, a sword, a pickaxe, the imp staff, and the flamerang. So just a really easy way to get a bunch of hellstone to work with. So I don't know exactly how well the audio is going to mesh up. You've probably already seen me mine, or go down my little ash tunnel into the lava. But so I'm going to give the video a couple of seconds here while I go and talk with the traveling merchant to catch things back up, because like I said, I know that the video recorder makes me lag a whole lot. So I'm just gonna give it a second to catch up while I'm buying some stuff from the merchant there. Another thing I wanted to show you was the fight with the queen bee in the jungle. So again, just letting the description of what I did down in the lava sort of catch up to where the video's at. And this part where I'm traveling, I'm not going to be talking too much. But while I'm running over here to the jungle, the queen bee is actually a really easy fight to prepare for. So if you can get some buckets, empty buckets, like made out of lead or iron bars, and fill them up with some water from just anywhere in the world, really. That's one of the things that will help you get ready to fight the queen bee, because you need water and honey mixed together as one of the things to summon her. So I'm going to talk about it a little bit more when I get there. But basically, the beehives that you run into in the underground jungle, you can use to summon the queen bee absolutely ridiculous amount of times. Like you need 5 pieces of hive, which you can mine with your pickaxe, 5 honey blocks, which you get when you basically you mix the water with honey. You just pour the bucket of water out onto the honey, and then you mine it with your pickaxe, and you'll get a honey block. You need 1 bottled honey, which you can get by taking an empty bottle and just standing in the honey and going into your crafting menu, and you'll be able to make bottled honey that way. And 1 stinger from a bee. So that's 5 honey blocks, 5 pieces of hive, I think just 1 bottled honey, though it might be 5, and 1 stinger from the hornets and the bees that you find down here. So, alright. Now, again, I don't know how well the audio is going to catch up to where I'm at, so I'm just going to give it a second here and go into my inventory, and I have this bezoar, which I actually got from killing the wasps and the hornets down in the underground jungle. It's a really useful item to have when you're fighting the queen bee, so you might want to consider trying to grab one of these. So I'm going to equip this bezoar in place of my lightning boots, because I'm not going to be running around or moving too much for this fight. And I take the abomination that I made with the hive, the bottled honey, the stinger, and the honey blocks. And just anytime you're in the jungle, you can summon the queen bee, but it's a lot easier to fight her in a small space like this. Because if you fight her out in the open on platforms like I fight most other bosses, then she just really moves around a lot, and it's hard to basically pin her down in one place and actually be able to hit her. So again, I'm just gonna hope that my voice is caught up to where this part of the fight is. And the queen bee is a really easy fight if you have the molten armor. And I've gotten enough money that I was able to reforge my fiery greatsword a lot, so I have a legendary one. And you'll see why I have so much money in a second when I go back to base after fighting the bosses here. But yeah, it's really helpful to have a legendary one. You don't need it; you can just have a normal one. And you can see that most of my accessories, like I've got this armor over here, warding on this one, and the armored worm scarf, so they give me a lot of extra armor. Also, there's a campfire for regeneration, a heart lantern, and a star in the bottle. So I've got increased mana regeneration, increased life regeneration, and more increased life regeneration. And one other thing you can do is you can drop down to the honey, and then you've got honey, life regeneration's increased, and when you pop out of the honey, it'll stay increased for 30 seconds, so that helps a lot to heal during the fight too, if you don't have as many defensive modifiers on your accessories as I do. So, I'm going to summon the queen bee, and the first thing she does is charge at you a few times, and you can drop down through the platforms and take less damage that way, but you don't really need to. And the reason why you want to fight her in this small space is because with that ceiling on top of her, she won't fly away from you, and you can just sit here and hit her with your sword. So when she starts charging like that, that's the most damaging thing she does, and you want to avoid that. So you just drop through the platforms while she does it. And, I'm going to pause here for a second because Cinderella, my kitty here, is being a jerk. Alright, so, and you want this small space so that, like I said, you're actually in range and you can hit her. And just when she's charging at you, just, jump up through the platforms and drop down through the platforms, and that'll let you get some free hits. So yeah, I can mostly just stand still here. And if you get a little bit hurt, you shouldn't worry about it too much, because there's a point where she basically fires bees out at you. And if your sword is strong enough, you'll be killing the bees as they come out, and you'll get hearts from it, so you'll be able to heal up. And you can see I'm not really getting hurt much at all. I've still got about 360 health out of 400. And she's going to be finished off here pretty quick. So I'm going to stop talking again for a second, just to give the video time to catch up to my voice with where it's at. So we got the treasure from that. And the last couple real quick, I'm just going to go and I'm actually going to fight the Eater of Worlds. Let me put my boots back on. I don't need the Bezoar to fight the Eater of Worlds. And then I'm going to fight the Eye of Cthulhu. And one of the things I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the mask for all the different bosses. And the mask and the trophy are both a really rare drop. And my cat is still being a jerk and knocked down the webcam, so I'm actually going to pause for a second again and hope that again it just gives the audio a chance to catch up to the video where it's at. And I'm going to take this kitty and I'm going to take her out of the room because I'm not playing with the kitty right now. I'm showing you some stuff. I'll be back, kitty. Okay. So like I said, hopefully the video caught up with the audio, and you're hearing stuff that's relevant to actually what's going on the screen. But yeah. So if you have the molten equipment already, the Eater of Worlds is really, really easy to beat. So drop down the ropes down here. And again, with the Eater of Worlds, if you've got enough defense and you have enough damage, you don't really need too much of a boss setup to fight him. And this isn't how I did it when I first killed him, but it's a pretty easy way to do it once you've got the molten equipment. Because again, you know, he can't really hurt me all that much. Now, I mean, he does hurt me, but every time that one of these segments gets destroyed, not only do I get loot from it, but every once in a while they're going to drop hearts. And those hearts are going to help to heal me. So as long as I've got a couple of potions, and I'm destroying the segments with my sword and doing damage to them, then I don't have to worry too much about my health. I will drink one potion there, because I feel like I'm going to need it this fight. I don't always need it, but this fight, it looks like I'm going to. And see, he's dropped some hearts there, and I was able to pick them up, and that helped out. And just slowly destroying the different segments of them. And there's a couple more hearts that really helped out right there, because I'm getting pretty hurt. But you can see he's almost dead. And it really helps if you can hit the heads, because the heads are a lot easier to kill than the body segments. And the body segments will actually split off and make different worms. But yeah. I can almost use another potion again if I need to, but I didn't need to because the Eater of Worlds has been defeated. He is now dead. So that's him. He was pretty easy. And again, just, you know, if you have the molten stuff, most of these bosses are pretty easy. Skeletron's a different story. Skeletron you got to move around a lot more for. But then this is the Eye of Cthulhu, and I would really recommend that you have a setup like this. I know you don't really like these. You say that these kind of setups don't really look all that great. And you can tell, by the way. Yeah, I definitely died. That vile spit is something the Eater of Worlds does. So I definitely died a couple of times doing this. Sylvan was murdered by the Eater of Worlds. There's another one. So yeah, it's not like I did this perfect the first time. it took a couple tries for the Eater of Worlds to go down. I was using the space gun back then, and that's why I fought him up here, because when he jumps through these platforms, sometimes you can just line it up just right with the space gun to where you're hitting a bunch of the body parts, the body segments of the Eater of Worlds at the same time. And the space gun can actually do a lot of damage to him. But back when I didn't have the molten armor and I was more worried about defense and dodging, I made this up to fight him with. But it's still really useful to fight the Eye of Cthulhu as well. So, and again, you know, I've got enough defense at this point that I don't really have to worry about it as much. And part of that's from having the Worm Scarf, part of that's from having the Shield of Cthulhu, so you do kind of gotta, it helps once you can kill them successfully the first time to be able to fight them easy like this. And again, I'll show you why I'm fighting the bosses more than once in a second from now. And, you know, it would help if I had like a campfire and a heart lantern here, but I don't really need them for this fight. So again, I'm not too worried about it. And part of it too, part of what might have made the Eater of Worlds a little harder than normal is, like I said, because I'm recording the video while I'm doing this, it makes my game lag a lot, and it goes a lot slower, and I'm not playing as well as I normally can. But yeah, once he gets into this phase, weapons are actually, I think, a little bit more helpful than ranged attacks. And if you're still low life and in the beginning, you might want to be running like this because your sword will still hit him occasionally. And then you can like drop through and dash on the other side, and you can see my sword's hitting him there occasionally. Not very often, but as long as you're patient and you run away like that, the swings will occasionally hit him from behind. This, again, I'm not too worried about dying, so that's why I was just standing in one place while I was doing it. And boom, I got the treasure bag and the Eye of Cthulhu trophy, which I actually already had. So after I pick up some of the coins and some of the loot around here, I'm gonna go back to my home base. And again, I know this isn't the kind of setup that you really like. You like stuff that looks prettier and doesn't look out of place in the world like this. And eventually, I'm gonna make it into like a big tree house. But for right now, this was the only way I could think of to store all my different kinds of treasures, because I've managed to get a lot of stuff, and I wanted to have one easy place to put all my NPCs and to put all my items for now. And then later on, when I get the stuff that lets me like build, you know, build faster and build a little bit more efficiently, then I'm gonna go and, you know, make some different houses and stuff, and I'll make the world that, you know, will have pretty houses and stuff that you wouldn't mind playing in, unlike this one, which I know you probably wouldn't like very much. So I'm going to throw out my piggy bank here, and these are really cool. If you can fight during a blood moon and get this money trowel, it's basically like a piggy bank that, you know, you can just throw up, and it flies there, and it lasts for a few minutes, and you can access it whenever. So you could probably be able to tell real quick before I get into my piggy bank there that I've got 3 Eye of Cthulhu trophies, 3 of the Bee Queen trophies, and 1 of the Eater of Worlds trophies. So I've already killed them quite a few times. And the reason why I was doing that was because with beating them so many times, I got all these treasure bags. And you can see I, you know, got 2 platinum coins and 4 gold. And a big part of the reason why I have that much money is because of these treasure bags. So just from opening those bags, I got 4 more platinum, 54 more gold. I'm going to throw those in my piggy bank to keep them safe. And when I go and I sell stuff, like to sell like the bee's knees, well, that was only 54 silver, but this guarding hive pack is 2 gold, so that's pretty nice. All these shadow scales from the Eater of Worms sell for a bunch of money. Beeswax, I got another 19 silver from that, which isn't a whole lot, but and in fact, I actually got to drop off some of my items here. But once I drop some of these things off in the treasure chest. Drop a, see, I've got a bunch of demonite ore. And just from selling a lot of this stuff, I got 4 platinum just from opening, some of the treasure bags, not all of them. I've still got some more. But just from selling this stuff, I've already got another 5 gold. 3 gold for the bee gun. And this is really one of the things that's allowed me to get a bunch of extra money. And that's another 63 gold right there. So I'm going to get another platinum just from selling stuff from all these. And, I'm going to have almost 10 platinum by the time I'm done selling all this stuff. And, yeah, it's just really let me, do a lot of reforging. That's the reason why, that's the reason why I'm, able to get a mythical imp staff, and I was able to, get my godly reaver shark, legendary fire greatsword, and if you just try some of this out, you can probably get a bunch of money yourself, and it would really help with with reforging stuff and getting some stronger gear to fight Skeletron with. So, anyways, that's just how I did it. And I found at least one of the things I was looking for, which was the Eater of Worlds mask. And I'm going to put it in here next to my Bee Queen mask. So, Eater of Worlds trophy, Eye of Cthulhu trophy, Queen Bee trophy, Eater of Worlds mask, Queen Bee mask, and Eye of Cthulhu mask. And that's really what I wanted to get from fighting those guys, was the rare drops from them, so that I could have all the masks to be able to wear and, run around and have fun in. But yeah, I hope some of that's helpful to you when you get to play Terraria again. And I hope you end up, making a bunch of money and being able to get some really good gear and stuff. And I hope that that some of that helps. Well, anyways, have a good night. Thanks for watching.